Hey there, everyone. Dave Barlow here with the gang from Sell for 1% minus one. And we won't talk about that because it's just making Jay mad.
I just wish I was so important and so loved by Daddy
He is.
that I could skip all the important meetings.
I'm trying to figure out where's your new Highlands with an S shirt, Rich?
I'm still working on that. I got to close a few loans before I get
Oh,
one
I
of those,
see.
I
I
think.
see. They're
Yeah.
appropriated by the number of deals you're doing.
Yeah.
And Jay, where's yours?
Well, apparently I'm no longer the favorite son, so I had to wear unbranded clothes too, just like Rich.
You're out. Let's go. It is what? Today's Thursday, May 21st. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like May is kind of dragging a little bit. I don't know. The first 4 months felt like they flew by, and then May seems to be slowing down a hair. Rich, what do you think about that?
Well, if May is slowing down, inflation is speeding up.
Oh
So
boy, here we go.
there's that. So maybe there's some sort of a yin yang or something to the universe,
That could be.
and yeah, it's possible. But all things being equal, we have inflation roaring, we have bombs flying, we have blockades, and of course, Dave can tell us about gas prices later. And so basically, you know, the 30-year Treasury bond right now is at its highest point since before the financial crisis in 2008.
I saw that.
So if that puts any context to where we
Yeah,
are, so
yeah.
anybody thinking that we're going to see lower rates, I think is sadly mistaken here in the near future, at least unless something turns around. Which one thing that could turn it around is the Supreme Court today is deciding on whether or not it's legal to remove Lisa Cook, the Fed governor who was committing mortgage fraud. So if we can get Lisa Cook out of there and get another pro rate cut, maybe we can cut rates right into into an inflationary environment and really hook the economy. Who knows? But that's kind of where we are right now. Rates are high sixes now, 6.5 to 6.75, a little higher even if you've got the wrong credit profile. And we're roaring into the summer with a little bit higher rates. Is what's going on.
I did see a email. It didn't go in depth from the realtor.com that said the number of contracts written in April was one of the highest like in last 10 years as well. So it's kind of a weird, and maybe like we've talked about, Rich, we have that the new normal is six and a quarter, six and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe people are, resigning themselves to the fact that they need a house and the rates are in the sixes, and that's where we are. And so that's the only answer I could give to that. But I do see, I have a lot of interest. I have a lot of people buying. I have a guy that's calling me now, as a matter of fact, that
Oh boy.
he's been trying to get in contract for 3 years. He's one of those 3-year
Wow.
um, tire kickers that finally went into contract yesterday. So things are still happening out there. It's still a good time to buy. It's still a good time to sell, I think.
Well, I got to think that somebody's been looking for 3 years, whatever his pocket is, but let's just say he's looking in Dublin. 3 years ago, the average sales price in Dublin was, 375, 400,000. Today it's now 500 to 550. So, you keep waiting for those rates to drop so you can save $50 a month
Right,
or $100 a month, and you just lost 150,000 in equity. So
right.
it's got to drive
Very
drive
good
you
point.
crazy. If I would love for you to ask him, do you remember when you started looking the price range that you were looking in, and then compared to what he goes in the contract, just to see has that number changed, or is he still looking in whatever he started, 3 years ago.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But I think it wasn't so much he was waiting for rates to go down because he just couldn't find the right house. That was in his case, that was the situation. But by not did have a couple of houses he liked, and he didn't bid high enough on them. And that 20 or 30,000 that he didn't want to offer on that house that he liked back in 2023 is, he's lost much more than that in buying the same house now for, as you point out, for much more.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I think the longest that I've ever had a client go is just around a year or thereabouts. Um, Jay, buyer side, and used to do a ton of buyers way back in the day. Um, you ever have anybody look for 3 years?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got people that look forever, it feels like. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what's happening out there in the world of real estate? What are you seeing there? Looks like you're looking at the numbers and
I'm trying to
digesting them.
I'm playing with a new feature that I got added on to the account here to put in pending data. And
Okay.
but what's interesting is now am I able to share my screen or no? Is that
Let me
something you
see
can
if I can
click on for me?
do that here.
While you're setting that up, the market count today is 4,928 houses on the market. So inventory is still climbing, which we would expect to see during, the peak seasons here.
Mhm.
And then let me share my screen. You're going to see all my billions of tabs that are open. So this is showing time, and this is Ohio's data. The orange line is this year, and so that dark blue line is last year. So we had more showings last year across the board in Ohio. Where right now we're 2026 is the second highest. You can see here on this overlay we're plus 42% above the 0% yearly averages. But then, we're trending not in the best direction. And I really, my personal opinion is, and you can kind of see it flatten out here. This is where we're on this come up. When I do this with sellers, I point this out. This is the snowstorm.
Uh-huh.
Where showings kind of fell off. Then we're on this come up. And then right here is when it should explode back up and then it just kind of flattens. And I think that is your Iran gas prices, all of that is my personal opinion. And then let me flip over to where I was just at. This is the new data that we have with the pendings.
Uh-huh.
There's more
There you go.
pendings right now than there were last year. So even though showings are down, the pending sales are up. And also, I know that mortgage applications are up. The biggest thing that's helping everybody right now is mortgage spreads. And I think part of that is the government helping to buy those down a little bit. They started, I forget, it was Fannie and Freddie announced they were buying mortgage backed securities. If mortgage spreads were where they were last year before, from the people I listened to, we'd be up near 8% right now on mortgage
Yeah.
rates, but we're not. So that helps a lot. The one I'm trying to kick back on here is this new price median. The prices are down this year compared to where we were last year. So I think that you're seeing the market kind of correct itself, that sellers that are overpriced, they're not selling, but ones that come on priced aggressively, and this is stuff that I'll use in my sellers and listing appointments is, if you come on the market and you're really reaching for a high price, you're probably not going to have the best time right now. But if you come on and you're priced a little on the aggressive side, when you're looking at comps, last couple years you could price a little bit above the comps. Well, you probably want to be in line or maybe even a little bit less than what they were going for last year, and you'll sell quick. And I mean, depending on how long that person's owned the house, they bought it last year. Well, that's not great news. But if you bought it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, price it right and it's going to go. So I'm seeing sellers, about 20 days typically. 28 days and it starts to pop. So it can take a little bit longer. Home inspectors are driving me crazy right now. Buyers are getting freaked out, getting cold feet. So collect your deposits. Other than that, market seems to be much better off now than it was a couple years ago, and it was just, 50 offers and no inspections. I don't think that's the best situation for buyers and sellers.
Yeah, we had how many listings did you say? I'm sorry.
We're around 4,900,
Okay.
so we're
So
climbing up, about to break through 5,000.
and of that last in the last week, we've had 779 price reductions.
That's about right now, about in a typical market, about a third of listings dropping is kind of
Hmm.
normal.
Yeah.
So again, this points to it's a healthy market. It's not a when everyone is going in multiple offers. I mean, that's great for sellers, but it's that's to me is not the healthiest place to be with things, going up 80,000 over asking, everybody waiving everything. I mean, best time ever to be a realtor, but I think this is more balanced and a better market overall.
Yeah, I listed two last Thursday night. Both of them, the sellers listened. We put them in, like I say, Thursday night, competitively priced. Both went multiple offer. One went for 35,000 over asking, and the other went about 22,000 over asking. And so I think the point being is that kind of dovetailing into what you're talking about there, Jay, is if you price the house correctly, we are going to see buyers. The buyers are there. The one house up in Delaware, I had five offers on. The other one down in the Clintonville area, North Clintonville, Beachwald area, we had three offers on. So, it's an interesting time. I am very intrigued with that mortgage spread that you're talking about. Rich, as you mentioned, we have the highest 10-year in a long time, but interest rates aren't following that. So there's a little disconnect there.
Yeah, we haven't seen interest rates go up as much as would be the case. I agree, and it there is a little bit of the quantitative easing happening right now. Um, but we still have seen quite a big move from pre-war right at the end of
Oh yeah,
February where we were high fives and now we're trending towards high sixes,
right,
um,
right.
mid to high sixes at least right now.
All right. So are you guys want to talk gas prices?
Yeah, let's hear about the gas and top tier gas as well.
I was out in the middle of nowhere and coming back from I was shown some property up on Indian Lake, and then I had to go look at some land over near Raymond, which is north of Marysville. And so I'm cutting across, all these farm fields, and out in the middle of nowhere, there's a Marathon gas station with very good gas prices. I mean, normally, out there in the middle of nowhere, if you're the only thing going, you're charging about $1 more a gallon because where are you going to go get gas? But they were super competitive. And so I pull in, needed some gas, started to fill up. And lo and behold, right there on the old gas tank was the top tier sticker. And so I think
Yep.
I sent you guys a copy of that because
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
I've never seen that before. It's like, I bought a red car.
Now you'll
Now
start to
every car
notice
on
it
the road
everywhere.
is red. Yeah.
That's right. Now that you're aware.
Yeah. I'm going to see that sticker everywhere. It's like, okay, well, at least I'm putting good gas and I got it for a decent price. So I was very pleased.
There you go.
I got it for $4.34 a gallon is what the price was. And that seemed to be kind of the price through the weekend, but I did notice yesterday about every gas station I went by was back up to around 479, 489.
We got
So,
Memorial Day weekend coming.
well, I think that you might be right. I think, maybe with the president talking about, possibly, starting the war back up, that that pushed it up. There's all kinds of factors, but I do think, and I've said this for a long time, whether it's a Republican president or a Democrat president, that, I think gas prices do impact people. I think it's one of the reasons why Trump got reelected, that, gas prices were about where they are now, maybe just a little bit higher, but I think people were unhappy. And if they don't get this mess cleaned up in Iran here and get gas prices back down to where they were a couple months ago, I think it might be a long road to hoe for the Republican Party come November. But I don't want to digress into the political world, but I think gas prices, if you're putting, $15 or 15 gallons a week in your car to get back and forth to school or work or whatever it may be, and it's costing you $1.50 more to do that, I mean, it's 25 bucks out of your pocket.
This is
And
peanuts. This is peanuts, guys.
well, but for most people, they're living kind of paycheck to
He's
paycheck.
mocking Trump.
It just, it takes its toll. And then those prices do impact shipping. The plastic wrappers, the plastic bottles are all made from oil byproduct. Everything goes up in price.
I got the
So,
major screw. I went from $25 to fill up my Honda Civic to $85 to fill up this stupid Pilot. All because
well,
somebody decided to come left to center and smash into me and break up my rib cage.
11 ribs.
Total madness.
Crazy.
Plus
But,
a car payment.
the
Thanks,
whole thing,
Obama. Thanks.
the whole thing is, it's one of those things called peace of mind. And so you're in a brand new car, a Honda Pilot. It's
There's no peace of
bigger.
mind when I make
The
the car payment. There's
technology, safety technology is great. And
nope.
so,
The government's tracking his every move. They
Yep.
could shut him off any minute that they
Yep.
want to now.
Yep.
there you
Nope.
go.
There's no real positive. You can try and spin it all you want. My insurance is up. I have a car payment, didn't have one before, gas. I got the major screw job. I
Well,
miss
as
it.
the broker of Sell for 1%, we like to have you indebted.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
You better sell a lot of real estate. And that's what music to my ears. So
Head broker talk there.
there you go. That's what I remember working at the radio station and became a general sales manager. And my boss, who then became my business mentor and one of my dear friends over the years, told me, he was the owner of the station. He told me, he said, you want to encourage the sales guys to go out and buy new homes, buy new cars, have lots of kids, because their incentive will be to go sell a lot of radio airtime because they got to be able to pay for it.
That's right.
So Jay has two of the three now, three of the four. Got a very nice home. Just bought a new car and has four
A
children.
new kid.
Yeah, yeah. So my
Attaboy, Jay.
retirement plans are coming together very nicely. So now I need to get Jamie on the stick. So
We got to get him hitched and
that's right. Have a half dozen kids.
just
Work
hope
until
he
you
doesn't have a head-on collision.
Yeah, work until you're 95. Make sure everybody's taken care of. So it's all good stuff. All right, guys, we are well into it here. Any final thoughts as to we head into the Memorial Day weekend?
This chart thing's pretty cool. I'm building out different charts, so our video next week will be even better than this week.
Chart heaven.
Nice.
Chart heaven. Here we go. All right. Sounds like fun, guys.
They're big, beautiful charts, and we will have them for you next week.
Sounds good. All right, guys. I appreciate your time. If you like the information, the fun banter, like and subscribe so you don't ever miss an episode of the days of our lives in real estate.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Ring the bell, subscribe, all that
Like
bit.
sand through the hourglass.
There you go. And my mom and her stories. There you go. Actually, Maria and her grandmother have to stop and watch her stories. Don't call her between 2 and 3. So, all right, guys, I appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll hope for the rain to stop so people can get out and go look at houses without the umbrellas and rain jackets and whatnot. So,
Get that
until
fertilizer on your yards.
there
Yeah,
you go.
and maybe Jamie will be good enough to join us. That'd be great.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe be able to shoot this on a Wednesday. Even better.
All right. Have a good one, fellas.
See you later.